Hello and welcome. In this video series, I am going to cover another interesting Snowflake topic, which is Snowflake context functions. This is a part 3 video of Snowflake function series. There are many context functions available in Snowflake. So let's look at them one by one. There are three different types of context function. First, general context, session context, and third, session object context. Let's look at them one by one. General context. In general context, it covers basic functions like current client, current date, if you want to get current region, current time or timestamp, system date. So these kind of functions are covered under general context. So let's look at the demo. General context. So in general context, there are 8 different types of functions. Let's test this first 4 functions. If I run this select query, we can see it has printed my current client ID. So I'm using Snowflake UI. So this is Snowflake UI is my is a client, and then this is my IP address. This is the region where I have deployed my Snowflake account, and this is a version for Snowflake UI. Next, let's test this current date, current time, local time, current timestamp, local timestamp, and system date function. Sysdate. If I run this query, we can see it has printed current date, current time, and local time. So this time and date is in PDT time zone. This is the West US time zone where I have deployed my Snowflake account. So remember, wherever you deployed your Snowflake account, that's your local time zone. Next, if you want to get a UTC time zone date, this is the function sysdate that we can use for that. So this sysdate will return the date in UTC time format. Next, let's look at the session context. So in session context, we can use different types of function like current session, current statement, current transaction. So these functions are very useful if you want to return account specific information or session specific information. Let's look at the demo now. Session context. Session context. So in session context, it covers 10 different types of functions. So this type of function or this session context, these functions generally don't require any argument to be passed. So we can directly use this function without any argument. So if I run this select query, I can see at the first column we can see it's all user names. So I have these two users. Then current account. So this is my account name. So this is the account name from the Snowflake UI we can see. Then this is the current role that I am using, and this is current available roles. So these are the current available roles for this account. Sysadmin, account admin, public security admin, and then user admin. And this is my current session ID. So this session ID is valid for this tab. So if I just change the tab, and let's say if I run this command again, I can see my session ID has changed. So it has 657 at the last, and here it's 829. Next, let's test these functions. So in this current statement, so it will just return my current statement that I have just executed. Then current transaction. So we'll speak about this in a moment. Next, current user. So I am using this user to run this query. Next, this is a last query ID that it is returning, and here it's a last transaction. So this will we will also look at this one. So for this last query ID, Snowflake also provides the history tab where we can look at the historical queries and its ID. So there are a lot of information available about the query, like its status, then SQL text, which user that query run, then warehouse, session ID, start time, end time. So this kind of information. So here we can see it has written this last query ID and last digit is 6EB6. So if we go to history tab, we can see the query ID is this one, 6EB6. So this is the query that we just run, and this is the query ID for that. Next, if we look at this current transaction, the value is null, and this last transaction, this value is also run. So these two functions are completely depend on that begin and commit keywords. So let's first create sample table. Okay, so use let's create database first. Now let's create sample table. Before we insert any record, let's write begin keyword. Now let's write this insert into statement, and let's test this current transaction statement here, current transaction function. So if I run this, this will return the current transaction that is ongoing here before, because I haven't committed this transaction. So that's why it will just print this. So let's say, and let's also check the last transaction. So we can see there is no last committed transaction yet. So it will just show the null value. So if I write commit after this, and if I commit that insert record, and if we again test this current transaction and last transaction function, we can see there is no current transaction at the moment because we committed it, and our last transaction ID was this one. So by using these two functions, this is how we can track and get the information about our current transaction and last transaction. Session object context. So this functions allows gathering information about the context in which the statement is executed, and these functions are evaluated at most once per statement. So this session object context family includes current database function, then we can get the current schema information, then we can get current warehouse, which role we are using to invoke that particular statement. So this kind of information we can get by using this session object context function family. Next, let's look at the demo and the working of session object context. Session object context. So these context functions cover 8 different type of function. First is current database, current schema, current schemas, and current warehouse. So let's run this select query and let's verify the output. So this current database will return the database that I'm currently using, then the schema name. This current underscore schemas will return me all the available schemas inside this particular database, and current warehouse will just return me the current warehouse that I'm using to run this query. Next, these two are the important functions in this session object context. First is invoker share, and next is granted to invoker role. So these two understanding of these two function requires some prerequisite knowledge about the Snowflake data sharing topic and the role hierarchy. So I will cover that data sharing and role hierarchy topic in my upcoming videos. But for now, if we look at the high level, this is granted to invoker role function. So it will either return true or false. So it will return true if invoker role inherits the custom role privileges. So meaning of this sentence is invoker role means we are currently using sysadmin to invoke this function. That means our invoker role is sysadmin. And then it inherits the custom role privileges, the custom role that we are passing as an argument to that function. So if this condition satisfies, then it will return true. Or if our sysadmin role has higher privilege than the custom role that we are passing here as an argument, then also it will return the true. Otherwise, in any other cases, it will just return the false. Next, let's test this invoker role and is role in session function. If I run this select query, I can see invoker role. Currently, I'm using sysadmin to invoke this statement, and then if we can check like is role in session, it will return true because this sysadmin is currently in session to execute this select statement. So if you need more information about the context functions, you can visit this Snowflake official documentation